I would say Phonative and RegReady means for Ontario Systems that we are in a position to have a group in our stable, if you will, that will allow us to deliver the regulatory requirements that we need for our industry without having to spend a lot of time and concern on trying to vet things every time that you go to market. So having someone like Phonative on the RegReady track allows us to proceed with confidence. It allows us to proceed with a certain amount of swagger into the industry and promote our position as a fully compliant solution for our customers. So when I go through the concept of RegReady and think about what types of things check the boxes for allowing us to define regulatory compliance in regard to HIPAA or PCI or any of the other things that we're concerned about, I think we go through the exercise of trying to understand what it is the market needs, what it is the customers need, what it is the industry demands, and then what it is the consumers need. And so I think when you triangulate those things, you start to come up with what checks the boxes around regulatory compliance and for each of the different constituents. And I think those involve a pretty heavy understanding of the regulation and the compliance measures themselves, the privacy needs and where that intersects with the consumers themselves, and then where the customers really need to be on being able to assure upstream and downstream compliance on all of those regulatory concerns. When I first heard the expression RegReady, it took a while to sink in, but when I understood the concept of we are RegReady, we are RegReady. We are ready for the challenges that the industry throws at you. And so regulatory compliance in one regard is a little bit of could be considered a tax on business, right? It's a cost of doing business. There's usually an increased cost with regulatory compliance. And there's good reason for that cost, but there's usually a cost. And so I think when you hear RegReady, you start to think, oh, the solution has the regulatory compliance baked in. The solution has considered all of the things that might come our way from regulatory compliance changes. So it's not just RegReady today, it's RegReady in perpetuity. So it's RegReady for the next regulation. It's RegReady for the next court decision. It's RegReady for the future. So as a customer of Phonative, knowing that they are RegReady and have created RegReady, it really makes you feel confident. It really makes you feel assured, knowing that the company is taking the approach of future-proofing their deliverables and their services to you through the lens of regulatory compliance and compliant communications for now, for tomorrow. And I think the ability to go to market and bring solutions to the market that are really focused on being in that compliant space, being in that regulatory space, I think it really gives you the ability to do what you do best. And you can spend your time and your energy and your development resources and your investment on the thing that you bring value, and your partner in Phonative is worried about the regulatory compliance and ensuring that that is rock solid platform that you can then build your solutions on top of. Some of the attractive elements of Phonative delivering a RegReady platform to Ontario Systems is really that confidence boosting and ability for us to then focus on our core domain expertise. So I think as a platform company, Ontario Systems is focusing on bringing solutions to the marketplace, and as a company who is really looking to integrate regulatory compliance into their communications suite, their stack, their solutions to the industry. Being able to have the solution that takes care of that, you can focus on the business that you have and bring value to your customers based on the things that you are really skilled at doing. If someone came to me and said, why would you want to work with Phonative to be reg ready? I would definitely tell them this solution and taking a look at compliance, specifically around communications and regulations around communications, it's a tricky landscape. It's not simple. It's complicated. It changes every day. It's hard. And it is not something that you want to mess with. You would do it wrong 4 or 5 times before you manage to do it right, and you would spend a lot of money to get back to the place where Phonative started years ago. And so to partner with Phonative on a reg-ready solution really just means you're going to skip that headache. You're going to have a solution that you can build on, and you're going to be able to take all of your time and money that you would have spent trying to do that outside and really focus it on something that moves your products forward. The biggest headache that Phonative takes care of from a reg-ready standpoint for us is the ability to really incorporate all of the complexity of regulatory compliance and privacy put into one piece and take care of that solution when it comes to communications, because I think that's really where the complexity comes in, is the regulatory compliance with privacy around communications is one of the most complex things when it comes to interacting with consumers today. And I think that's really where the value is. So one of the reasons why Reg Ready is so important around the topic of communications and compliance is that the communication aspect is really where you interact with consumers. And in our space today, the political climate and the regulatory climate, consumers are at the nexus of the concern around privacy, data ownership, and regulation. And I think consumer rights is one of the places where complexity is changing exponentially. There's a lot of changes in the marketplace. There are a lot of demands being put on the systems in place, and a lot of the systems are breaking. And so I think when you get into communication, that's where you're interacting with the consumer. And anytime you're interacting with the consumer, your system is now squarely in the target, bullseye on the back, fully regulatory privacy compliant. I think one of the things that Phonative's Reg Ready does to protect you from being a target is they step in front and lead with a proven solution. And so when you have regulatory concerns and the boxes are checked and the privacy concerns are checked with respect to communication, you can go about doing your business, which is larger in scope than just communication, and know that that very sensitive endpoint of reaching out and talking to the consumer, communicating with the consumer on all the different venues that you communicate with are protected. When I hear the term Reg Ready, what comes into my mind immediately that is so relieving is to know that I, as a producer of software, do not have to reinvent a very complicated, very complex, very rigorous program of regulatory compliance and privacy that I would have to spend a lot of effort and energy on from now into the future in order to keep up with what's going on in this space. So one of the things that Phonative does with Reg Ready that helps make my telecom needs easy is really to provide an incredibly long history of expertise in the marketplace of providing robust telecom solutions. So in addition to Reg Ready, there's a really robust foundation of telecom industry experience, proven ability to scale, ability to deliver services. And then What Phonative does with RegReady on top of that is then protect me as the user of this telecom infrastructure to be able to use that underlying reliable infrastructure in a confident manner, knowing that I will not be subjected to undue scrutiny in the industry around privacy concerns and regulatory compliance. I think when I think of the concepts of protecting security and the telecom environment around RegReady with Phonative, I really think that they are able to bring everything together into a package. And I think for me, that's what RegReady is. RegReady is the combination of the industry expertise, the expertise in regulatory compliance, the expertise in privacy, all brought together in a service that I can use and consume and be confident about. If you were a customer, prospective customer of Phonative, and you were trying to think of reasons to do business with Phonative, one of the primary reasons in my mind is the way that the interface, the way that the API that Phonative has designed interacts with you, the customer. So I'll give you, for instance, for many years we had looked at some of the over-the-top technologies and doing some things with mobile APIs, and there are a lot of mobile API companies out there that do communications and can send messages and can do some really nifty things with mobile technologies. But when you're running an enterprise call center and you're trying to deliver enterprise, outbound, inbound, voice, all of the different aspects of real-time technology, the APIs and the endpoints that Phonative delivers is amazingly well integrated into your thought stream, into your work process, into your end goals. And so you really don't have to spend a lot of time building up a lot of enterprise libraries around the function of call center. It's a well-packaged solution that's well-designed with the enterprise software developer in mind. Now, if there were one sentence that I had to say why every year I keep working with Phonative, it would probably be confidence and respect. The team is amazing, their solutions are amazing, and they continue to stay relevant, and that continued expertise and respect is really how companies work well together. So if I were shopping in the space as Ontario Systems to try to find solutions in the space, one of the things that I would find that Phonative offers that other people don't is the stability, reliability, and uptime of the platform. I think there are a lot of examples where a lot of companies in this space don't offer very clear SLAs. They don't offer very clear partnership with the company around transparency, around the uptime of the platform, and some of the things that you come to rely on if you are going to use someone else's solution and integrate it into your end solution. And I think that's one of the key things that they offer. I think when I think of some of the features that separate Phonative from the rest of the crowd and why we focus on their solutions, I think a lot about the robust scalability of the platform. Oftentimes in the call center and SaaS environment on our side, we get into situations where traffic is very bursty. We have a lot of need to scale up. We have a lot of need to scale down during different seasons, different campaigns. And I think one of the things that we've appreciated over the years with Phonative is that ability to know the platform is there. If you throw traffic at the platform is going to respond in a favorable way and scale up and scale down.